Hello, everyone, and welcome to Relationship Real. I am your host, Keisha Clark, and this is the podcast that gives real advice for real life. Now, the goal of this podcast is to help you maintain better relationships with your friends, with your family, with your significant other, and to interview the most fascinating people around the world in hopes of giving you the best insight on how to get and maintain the relationships you desire. Now, I see this podcast as a little mix, a weird mix of like a Dear Abby, for those of you that are old enough to remember. I don't know if it's still going on, but you would usually see Dear Abby column in a newspaper where people actually write in to ask for real advice to real problems. And that is something that you can do with this show. If you have a question about something going on in your life, you can write in, say what you need to say, confess whatever you need to confess, and feel comfortable knowing that this is a community that I am building that is geared towards helping other people to develop the best relationships of their lives. And it's a mix between that and I would say a motivational talk show, because I'm all about the motivation, all about positivity. And I've definitely been through different times in my life in which things were not that positive. And it was hard. It's really, really hard, actually, when you are not in a good mental space to have and maintain good relationships with other people. So I am so happy to be able to bring this podcast show to you and to make sure that we do the best that we can to deliver great content to you and give you great advice, and to really talk to people who are going to inspire you to not only develop your own mind and to develop your own great relationships with people, no matter what stage you are in your life at this present moment, but to also empower you and encourage you to go out and help other people to develop great relationships and connections with others as well. So I'm really, really excited to bring you this show, guys. This is really something that, you know, I don't want this to just be something that I just do every now and then like a hobby. Like, this is what I really believe that I am made to definitely do, and I want to do it to the best of my ability. So your comments are welcome. I'm going to, at some point, maybe not in this podcast episode, give you more social media websites that you can go on and leave your private or public comments, questions, and write to us, talk to us, let us know how we're doing. Your feedback is important. So let's get into it. The title of this episode, basically, I'm going to go over 5 main ways that you can do your best to maintain your self-esteem in your relationship. Now, when I say your relationship, it's like I am not only talking about partnerships. It's going to sound like something that is very, very close to that. Like I'm talking about, a relationship with your significant other. But honestly, this can relate to relationships that you have with friends, even. If it's not right and, you're not feeling like it's right, you got to keep certain things in mind. You don't need to drag things along. So, first things first, number 1, follow your intuition. Follow your intuition. Now, I know that some of you are out there. If you were anything like me years ago, you probably saying, yeah, I've heard all of that already. Follow your intuition, follow your instincts, follow your quote unquote gut feeling. But then you're probably also thinking, or some of you may be thinking that, well, how do I do that? How do I know that I'm not just being skeptical about something, or I'm not just thinking about something too much or whatever? The truth of the matter is, it's like your intuition is truly your most powerful internal guide. Okay, your intuition can also be set off, in my opinion, by certain things that are just happening. If something is happening or something is said to you or around you, or there's some type of even nonverbal behavior, your body, your mind, your heart is going to feel uncomfortable about that. And rather than taking the time to explain it away or act like, oh, that person didn't mean that, oh, they just seem angry, maybe it's something else, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't even matter. Somebody that cares about you, they shouldn't act certain ways that are, so offensive to you that it upsets you that, number one, you keep thinking about it. Number two, you just feel overall uncomfortable with it. Okay, so I'm trying to think of certain examples. I've definitely been in relationships where I didn't listen to my intuition. Maybe it's a person who you are going out maybe to date a guy or a girl or whatever with the intention of actually being in a relationship with them. And for some reason, you're not getting those signals that are making you feel like this person wants to be in a relationship with me. And no, maybe the person's not a bad person, so to speak, or, they haven't done anything to you, but you get the feeling. You know your body. Okay. And even if you don't know your body as well as you think you could, you know that if you have to ask, hey, what are we doing here? Or whatever, something's not right. And it's not going along with the plans that you have for yourself, which you should have big plans. You should think of yourself as, like I'm way up here. So therefore I'm not going to accept anything way below a certain standard. So if you are feeling that way, there's no need to force the issue onto a person. Okay. Yes, it's good to quote unquote have that talk, but I believe that you will pretty much know before you have that talk. I'm doing air quotes that you can't see, whether or not this person is in tune with you. Why not listen to that? Don't feel like, and I know you ladies, a lot of ladies, men out there too. There's parts of you that have low self-esteem. I'm just gonna say it because I'm not saying it to put you down. I'm saying it because I know how it feels. Okay. I'm there with you. And there's parts of you that have low self-esteem. There's parts of you that are feeling a certain way and you really, really want to be in a relationship so bad, but for some reason you are stifling that inner voice inside of you that's telling you this guy, this girl, this person is not for me. There's something that's not 100% right. Follow your intuition and don't be afraid to, which is number two, cut your damn losses. Don't be afraid to cut your losses. You will find somebody else, okay? There are plenty of other people out there. You do not have to put up with bullshit, to be quite frank. And there is nothing wrong with that. And you know what? There's so many of us, we're too damn nice. Stop being freaking nice. Okay? There's a time and a place for that. If something is not right, it's not, you know what? Let me just, because I don't want to come off too hard on this, but I really just want to drive the point home that it's not about being mean or nice, really. It's just about the fact that you have a certain standard. Now, when I say standard, you got a lot of people out there that are probably thinking, holy crap, she's probably one of those people who are talking about people who have this long list of superficial crap that they're looking for in a mate. No, I'm not talking about stuff like that. I'm talking about the real deal. You're looking for somebody, like if you're a person that has your little checklist, you're looking for those inside qualities. Now maybe I'm gonna have to do a whole nother show on that. I am absolutely sure on that because I know there's a lot of people out there. You guys are superficial as hell and you're looking at outside qualities and you're looking at bank accounts and you're looking at, I don't know, sneaker size and bullshit. I'm gonna do another show on that because the sneaker size and the hand size don't have nothing to do with what you ladies know what I'm talking about. But anyways, that's for another time. My point is you do not have to put up with bullshit. So cut your losses. If you have a certain standard as far as a person is supposed to treat you a certain way, you are expecting, this person to be like this, in a respectful way. You're expecting consistency. You're expecting respectfulness. You're expecting a certain tone of voice when the person is speaking to you, which speaks to their respect for you. That is something that you should not sit down and say, oh my gosh, let me wait a couple months till I get to know him better and then I'll decide. No. If a person shows you who the hell they are, freaking listen. Just listen. Listen to your intuition and don't be afraid to cut your losses because they're telling you who they are. They don't have to come out and say, I'm a bitch. I am a mean guy. I'm not right for you. Nobody's going to come out and freaking tell you that. They are going to show it and demonstrate it through their actions, and it's up to you. You're in control of you, who you want to be with in your life, in your body. It's up to you to follow your intuition, to pay attention to what they're showing you. I'm not even talking about some, crazy esoteric signs. Okay, I'm talking about real deal shit that people are showing you and saying to you, and you need to follow your intuition, listen to how they speak to you. Listen, if you don't feel right in the way they're treating you, don't be afraid to cut your losses. Number 3, this is so important. This is so important. Everybody, you need to know that no one can hurt you unless you give them the permission to do so. Let me repeat that. No one can hurt you unless you give them the permission to do so. So therefore, you can't say, "Oh, this guy," and I know it's hard. This is on that higher level of consciousness that took me some time to really wrap my head around, because when you feel like you have been lied to, or when you have been, lied to, or something was misrepresented to you, all because that person had a certain idea of how they wanted to deal with you that was not on the same level or at the same place that you wanted to be when dealing with them, when it wasn't right, and you did not want to cut your losses, as I said before, for whatever reason. There's so many different reasons why we don't cut our losses when we should. You cannot then just blame everything on that person and say, oh, it's your fault. Oh, you lied to me. Oh, you this and that. No, because I am sure when you started to see signs that this person was not that trustworthy, you could have left. You could have talked to that person and say, look, this is what I expect. This is not what I'm getting. Peace out. But you didn't do that. Whose fault is that? It's your freaking fault. It's your freaking fault. And I know there's a lot of people out there like, oh, it's easier said than done. And, people change over time and this and this and this and that. And there's kids involved in this and that. But you know what? The truth of the matter is, the majority of you out there, you're single, you don't have any kids, you don't have any attachments. And even if you have kids, I don't give a horse's ass if you're being mistreated. Fucking cut your losses. There's something called divorce. People act like, oh, you get married and there's no way out. This is not the freaking dark ages, okay? You can get the F out if you want to. And I'm not encouraging divorce. I would love, 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 love to get married and only be married to that person forever. But at the same time, if things are not going right, you cannot ignore that, and you cannot sit there like a freaking fool and take bullshit and if you have children, and you are allowing your children to see you taking bullshit, they will not have respect for you. I can tell you that right now. I would not have respect for my mother if I watched her stay with my father who was not doing right. What the fuck is that teaching me, number one, about relationships? I'm already damaged because I'm seeing him do bullshit. But more importantly, what is that teaching me about my mom? Okay? You're the closest person to me, who had me, who raised me, who, is my everything, your first freaking idol in your life. And what does that say when you are seeing that person allow themselves to be taken advantage of and belittled, and they do nothing about it whatsoever, or take a really long time to do something about it? You have to understand that no one can hurt you unless you give them permission to do so. That person wants to cheat on you, mess with you, whatever. If you decided to stay with that person, even if you never knew, that person wasn't committing to you, that person wasn't doing anything to you, how are you going to get upset when they bounce and then later on you're like, oh, well, you find out they were married or in another relationship? It's going to hurt because it naturally does. You start having sex with people, developing these soul ties to people. It's an emotional thing, even though a lot of people try to play like it's not emotional. It's an emotional thing. It is something that hurts, but you got to remember you played a role in it too. You cannot blame that person for everything, and you learned something from every single person that you're in a relationship with. Let me repeat that. Every single person that you're in a relationship with, you definitely they're your teachers in essence. They're your teachers about yourself. They're your teachers about, you know what? I could have been strong enough in this situation. I was too weak in this situation. I was too needy in this situation. These people show you things about yourself, some things that may be good, some things that may not be so good, some things that you could actually change to improve upon yourself. You need to take that. You need to own that. And you don't need to wallow in depression over it. You just need to say, okay, now I have this information. This is what this person taught me. I was blind. Now I see. What can I do to make it better, to make my life better? Because I don't want to keep making the same mistakes. I don't want to keep attracting the same freaking dumbass people in my life that may not be good for me. What can I do? So, moving along. The next thing that I want to talk about, so let me see, that would have been, I guess, rule number 3 that I just talked about. So I think, anyways, oh, yes, that's true. So number 4 would be, oh, my favorite. Follow I'm calling it the at peace rule. Yep, I coined it. That's a Keisha Clark thing. You got to be at peace. Okay, so everyone has their own at peace rule, as I call it. All right. So I always tell my friends, family, whoever, think about whatever it is that you're about to participate in. I don't care what it is. It could be a relationship, it could be going out with a friend, it could be dealing with a family member. Okay, they don't have to be crazy or extra anything, but think about anything and everything that you are presented with. Okay, so if you're presented with a certain opportunity, always think to yourself, if I do this, if I participate in X, if I go out with this person, if I have sex with this person, if I befriend this person, if I talk to this person, if I freaking go out to the mall with this person, will I be at peace for making that decision? What do I mean by that? If you feel like you don't feel like hanging out with somebody for whatever reason, you feel that person is too negative, you feel that person just brings your whole positive aura, your energy down, okay? If you think about hanging out with them, before you think about hanging out with them, you think and you say to yourself, if I go with this person or if I do this, I will not be at peace. I know that when I come back, I'm going to be upset. I'm going to be kept up all night because I'm not going to be able to sleep because I feel like this person is going to say something or do something to upset me because that's just how they are. Just remember, you can't change other people. The only person you can change is yourself. And you are the only person that has control over the decisions that you make. So therefore, if you're not going to be at peace with a certain decision, you are in control of that, and you are the one that's able to say, you know what, I'm not going to do it. I'm just not going to do it because I know I'm not going to feel good afterwards, right? Or I'm going to do this knowing that there's a reason why I'm going to put myself into the situation. Therefore, I cannot be upset with myself because I put myself into that situation. And I'm telling you, it works, it works, it works. So, once again, follow your at peace rule. If you're not going to be at peace with it, don't freaking do it. Okay? And lastly, have an abundance mentality when it comes to finding a partner. Once again, have an abundance mentality when it comes to finding a partner. That's number 5. You cannot sit down and think to yourself, I have to stay with a particular person, even though, I don't feel that good about them. They may not be that right for me. How do I feel that how the way you feel about them is just a big all the time. You cannot sit down and tell yourself you're going to stay with this person when things are not 100% correct, as if you cannot find somebody else. And having an abundance mentality is having a mind shift that says, I can find somebody else because there's plenty out there. There's an abundance of great men, women, people who will love me for me, treat me with the respect that I have on my standard, have the positive aura energy, be consistent, all of those things that are on your true standards list, not superficial standards list, on your true standard list of the spirit of that person and who that person is. You need to have an abundance mentality to say, I will find somebody else that's better for me. Therefore, I can cut my losses, follow my intuition. Remember that I have control over my feelings and my emotions, and that you can't hurt me with your actions. And just knowing that I'm at peace with any decision that I make with you, because I know that I don't have to say in any kind of relationship, okay, whether it's abusive or not abusive, unless I want to stay and unless I'm at peace with staying. And that's something that a lot of people struggle with. And on this show, I definitely want to tackle this and go into this more and talk about, well, how you can develop an abundant mindset. How can you develop an abundance mentality? How can you do your best to live your best life now, not tomorrow, not thinking about things from the past that will depress you and hold you back, but how can you live your best life right now? So, those are the 5 keys for maintaining some form of self esteem in your relationships, okay? I'll go over them once more. It might be out of order, but I'm going to do my best. I jumbled them. I wrote them out a certain way, and then I jumbled them around as I was talking. But number one, follow your intuition, guys. Follow your intuition. That little feeling inside of you that's telling you it's not right. Listen to it and take action on it, I should say, because it's not enough to just recognize it. You need to take action on it. Taking action on it would be number 2. Don't be afraid to cut your losses. Know that it's all right. Know you'll be okay. Know that things will get better. This is today and there's a tomorrow. There is always hope for something better. Number 3, remember that no one can hurt you unless you give them permission to do so. No one can hurt you unless you give them permission to do so. Okay? Number 4, follow your at peace rule. If I do X, will I be at peace with this decision? I don't care what it is. You need to understand that, know that, become completely aware of your power when it comes to that. Okay? And lastly, have an abundance. Oh, that's not lastly. I think, oh, yes, next, follow your at peace rule. Follow your at peace rule. Not sure if I said that. And lastly, have an abundance mentality when it comes to finding a partner. Okay, there are plenty of people out there. You will be fine. You will be fine. You will find somebody that is right for you. If you have this mentality that there's not a lot of people out there, therefore I must, make a man or make a woman or force somebody. You can't change anybody. You can't change anybody into anything else except for what they are. When they show you who they are, believe them. Believe them. Someone else can deal with their ways. You don't have to. Okay, so have that abundance mentality to know, when it comes to finding a partner, you will be all right. And that's it for the first episode of Relationship Real. Thank you for tuning in. Please leave your comments and questions below. Subscribe, like it. I am so excited, as I said before. I definitely want to put out as many podcast episodes as possible. And if you have any suggestions actually for wonderful, fascinating people who you would like to hear from, we definitely would like to interview them and consider them for the show and really get their perspective, because honestly, it's all about the relationships, and it's all about maintaining relationships with the people in your life, because you can have the greatest success in the world, all the money in the world, but if you don't have good relationship with your family, your partners, your friends, things like that, then it really doesn't make your life as fulfilling as you might hope that it would be. All right, and I'm signing off, and I'll see you guys on the next episode.